What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another podcast on What's the Call. We are here joined with a very special guest, official NBA Buzz. Say what's up.
What's up, guys? Mikey here of official NBA Buzz on Instagram and NBA Buzz on all other platforms. I'm happy to be on.
We're excited to have you here today. So today we have a very special podcast for you all. But before we get started, oh, by the way, I do have AK here joining.
Yeah, AK checking in here, guys. Excited to get this thing on the road.
Anyways, before we do get started, Mikey, or official NBA Buzz, why don't you tell us a little bit about your page, just how you sort of started it, what's your purpose, what's your intention, what do you normally do on the page?
Yeah, so I started NBA Buzz on Facebook in 2012. Since expanded to Instagram and Twitter, and I have my own show, Inside Buzz, on YouTube, and it's going to be on podcast platforms shortly. I have almost 3 million followers total. And on my show, I've had guests like Hall of Famer Nancy Lieberman, ESPN analyst Ryan Hollins, Brendan Haywood, NBA champion, Chris Copeland, and I'm working towards my first active NBA player. I've gotten a bunch of veterans and some journalists on the show, looking for my current active one. The goal with the page, just like all of us and like you guys, post engaging things on Instagram and social media, news, stats, quote graphics, and, all that stuff. And with my show, it's just getting myself out there as a journalist.
Yeah.
I'm a journalism major in school. So, it's like a win-win situation. My content, and it's good for me as a journalist.
Yeah, what's interesting is I'm actually going to my first year of college this coming up season, this coming up year, and I want to get a degree in journalism and get into sports broadcasting. So just seeing what you're able to do with official NBA Buzz is just so inspiring to see, and I'm really excited to see the big things that you do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Listen, this platform for you guys will help your resume as well. So
yeah,
perfect.
Definitely.
Guys, make sure you guys check out him on Instagram, Facebook, I believe too, right?
Yep.
YouTube, he has a lot of engaging stuff and gives you a lot of cool facts and stuff on the NBA. So definitely check out his stuff. Again, we're super excited to have you here. So I kind of want to start off by getting to know you. So, what's your favorite NBA team or your favorite NBA player?
Yep. So, I'm out here in New York, Long Island, New York, if you could hear it in my accent.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm a Knicks fan.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. Every show I hop on, when I say it, I get the same reaction. I'm just hoping for LaMelo, man. We need LaMelo. What's up?
No. Go ahead.
Okay. Favorite player? Right now, I like everybody. I'm starting to like Jason Tatum a lot. He's so smooth.
Okay.
Since the Knicks don't really have this top dog over here, it's like, who's my favorite player?
Yeah. No, it's interesting because my friend's a big Celtic fan, and just watching Jason Tatum develop from last year into this season, you can see the work that he's done with Kobe Bryant, obviously before his passing, but he's just elevated his game immensely, and I think that's going to be a top 3 player in the next few years. Definitely. Watch out for.
Definitely. He has the skill set to do great things. But just speaking off the Knicks, because I know every basketball fan loves to talk about their team just for countless hours. We're both Warriors fans. We love to talk about the Warriors. So on the Knicks, where do you sort of see them in the future? How do you think, if they do get LaMelo, how do you see them sort of building up? What are the key pieces that they need to get?
They have the pieces. And in RJ and Mitchell Robinson and even Frank Ntilikina is still very young. It's just the guidance of the team. Like, I like the Thibodeau signing.
Yeah, that's right.
Which just happened a couple hours ago.
Right.
He's a veteran coach. He doesn't take any BS from anybody, and he's going to really crack down. But I think the real change starts at the top. Dolan has to get out of there. He's got to sell the team.
That's so true.
Exactly.
He's not progressive. He doesn't want to do anything good for the team.
Yeah.
But that's that aspect. But then they got to get lucky in the draft with LaMelo. And I want them to bring in a, DeMar DeRozan or a Devin Booker, who's just a straight-up scorer who could get things done. And then all the young guys could kind of, file in around him.
Yeah, and it was interesting because, last year around this time, there was the whole hype of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving joining the Knicks, right? And then, before the draft, Zion being on the Knicks. So you guys are supposed to be in a whole nother stage. And, we kind of wrote about, James Dolan kind of being the issue in New York. I just think they need a cultural rebrand. But if you bring in a guy like Thibodeau, like you said, who has great experience, has worked with players like Jimmy Butler and Derrick Rose, you guys have great pieces like RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson. I think the issue with Fizdale honestly was just not utilizing the young guys and plugging in the older guys.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. Okay, so on to a more a general aspect, not just concerning the Knicks. This is going to lead into a broader question, but if you had to choose a decade to play in as a player in the NBA, from the Jordan era to, I guess, now the LeBron era, which era would you choose to play in? You know, just to be more successful.
Me as a basketball player, what I think is the ideal
What do you
decade
think?
for
What do you think is the ideal decade?
for all players, I think the 2000s, like the late
Okay.
2000s. So
Okay,
like
okay.
2008,
Right.
like
Paul
2008 to like 2013.
Okay. Okay,
Because
so the Kobe era, really.
what I see is, the big man is still utilized. Dwight
Uh-huh.
Howard's still a top dog in the NBA. And
Mhm.
then you got shooters like Steph Curry coming in. So
Right.
the three is, you got some 3-pointers, you got some big men in there, and you got like, a league where being a top scorer is really, which is, in every era, will really get you wins. So, because right now they rely on the three way too much and not any defense.
Yeah.
So I think a mixture of the two would be my favorite era. So late 2000s.
That's
Yeah,
pretty cool. Because
yeah.
you also split up the Bulls era and then the Warriors era, which is in those two situations, it's just there's going to be number one team only on the top.
Yeah.
That's a good spot to put your players in.
And with that said, I mean, often we hear about the competition being lesser back in the day during Bill Russell's time because the game is different or guys are more athletic these days. So with that said, do you feel the game has changed as time has progressed in a more, positive manner, negative manner in terms of physicality and athleticism and all that?
Yeah, the game has definitely progressed for the better. I
Yeah.
think, the shooting is the only issue that I have, but
Mhm.
everything else, the athletes in the league today, like they could all just jump out the gym really. Like
Yeah.
think like what is it? Like 2% of the NBA can't like isn't
Yeah.
athletic maybe, like Kyle
Yeah.
Korver, I don't know, a couple other players.
Yeah.
And so yeah, the athleticism's come a long way. The skill set in some of these top players. Just look at Luka, Tatum, Ja, Zion, and all the young guys.
All
Yeah.
athletic.
When did we ever see this many rookies or second-year players really develop this quick? So that shows, what's happening in the NBA for the good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so definitely think that with all the rookies coming in nowadays, it's definitely a different mindset, right? Players, even my age, maybe Amar's age as well, when they're training for the NBA, they have to have a different mentality coming in. But
Yeah.
leading up to that question, we're going to ask you the infamous GOAT debate. And we wanted to hear your take on this. Me and Amar have had countless hours just debating about whether it's LeBron or MJ. I think it's MJ. He thinks it's LeBron.
Ron, man, I got
What's your
Team
take?
Ron.
All right. It'll be MJ
There we go.
every day of the week, 365, and on Sundays.
Wow. Okay.
Listen, it's not even just about the winning, because that's a major part of it. 6-0,
Yeah.
tremendous in the playoffs. He just pours it on teams.
Yeah.
It's not even about that. If you look what he did in like limited time,
Yeah.
in a lot less time, he's up there with, in the all-time ranks in limited time. He retired in his prime. He retired, then he comes back at 38, 39, 40, and is still dominating. Other than his team dominating, he's still dominating.
Yeah.
If you just look at all of that, and but then I got LeBron tied with Kareem at number 2, so it's not like I'm dissing LeBron.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Never dissing LeBron.
Like, I got LeBron right there. Like, if you look at what LeBron's doing, like, look at the guy right now. He's got gray hair on his beard, and he's still kicking ass.
Yeah,
So
right.
he's really. I like the two of them, but I always got MJ. He really transcended the game, and he just, man, he's the greatest scorer ever. If you break it down to numbers, percentages, just his mid-range game, nobody did it like him. Even Kobe didn't do it like him, because Kobe was a little, he would chuck a little too much.
Yeah.
So MJ was just cut to perfection.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, you guys bring up valid points. When I talk to people that say MJ's the GOAT, I totally understand. And, I know a lot of people that when I say, oh, I think LeBron's the GOAT, they look at me like I'm saying, but Brian Scalabrini's the GOAT. And, no offense to Brian Scalabrini, but, and I look at a guy like LeBron, I mean, I think 2018 was kind of like, to me, the walking example of what makes him, to me and a lot of other people, the greatest player of all time. I mean, you're taking guys like Jordan Clarkson, Who else did he have on that team? He had Rodney Hood. I mean, he's taking really, really bad Cavs team, and he took on a dynasty. And, it's funny, being a Warrior fan, I was conflicted because I was like, I want my argument for LeBron to be more like, he's the greatest of all time. He took down a dynasty, but I'm like, I'm also a Warrior fan.
Right.
So I was conflicted in that manner, but yeah, I totally see what you're saying, man.
Yeah, and listen, I think I always say this to my friends if we're debating. There should be no argument that the greatest player ever is Michael Jordan and the greatest athlete ever.
Yes.
James.
Yes.
Because if you look at his physicality and his, his measurements and his weight, how fast he moves at 35, it's just he's the greatest athlete ever. Greatest NBA player, I got MJ.
That's true. And speaking on terms of LeBron, we're also going to ask you another very general question. Do you think that for this NBA bubble season that the Lakers will take the championship home, which many people do believe?
Yeah, I've been watching them. They were my pick in the beginning of the year and still, all the way through quarantine. Watching them in the scrimmages, I mean, listen, they've been looking pretty strong, especially when, like, the top guys are out there. Yeah, they, just snuck past Orlando today, but AD was out, getting poked in the eye. But their team is deep. Their team is very deep.
They have a very good bench.
What I like about the Lakers, other than the Clippers, I think the Lakers have more role players who will fit their roles.
Yes.
I think the Clippers have so many strong points who are going to want touches.
Yeah.
And they're each going to want to dip their toe in the lake, to get the scoring numbers. So that's where I think the Lakers are going to outdo the Clippers. And the big men.
Yeah.
Look,
And the big man.
AD and Dwight are going to eat Harrell in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Right.
and I mean the Clippers. I mean they have Ivica Zubac and then Montrezl Harrell. I mean you put guys. I mean they have Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, AD. They're so deep in that big man presence, and I think that's an issue. But you brought up a very good point about how the Clippers are just deep, but it's just on one aspect of they just have a lot of players. Where the Lakers are just deep in every position that fits their system. That was a very good point. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that I was also telling Amar this, when the Clippers got Paul George and Kawhi, it was more of like they were just trying to shove all-stars and like star players down Doc Rivers' throat. Doc Rivers was trying to bring in, overload the entire system, and that wouldn't create flow because everyone would want to touch. But it's not like the Warriors where, they had 5 all-stars in their starting lineup at once, but everybody knew their role. Everybody knew how to be a system player, and Steve Kerr did a very good job of managing that. So yeah, I think the Lakers will definitely take the cake. But what usually goes along with me saying the Lakers will take the cake is how Giannis will lose with the Bucks. And do you think that if Giannis loses with the Bucks this season, that this is the last season?
Again, I just had this, another discussion with my friends on something like this last night. I think if Giannis loses in the finals, that's a step past where he was last year.
Yep.
Loses in the finals, remember.
Yeah,
I think he stays.
Okay.
I think if he doesn't make the finals and they lose early, I think he's out to Miami.
To Miami. Okay.
Wow.
To Miami. That would be pretty good.
Not Golden State, because I read something. If Golden State wants him, they got to give up either Clay or Draymond, and I don't think they're going to really.
That's probably true.
Take them out. They can't afford all those freaking stars.
Right.
Yeah, it's true. And you got a guy like Draymond, especially, everybody talks about the triple single or about how much, he sucks and yada, yada, yada. I mean, people don't understand. He's a key part to that team. When I talk about the Warriors nucleus, he's actually the first guy that I think of because he's, the loudmouth of the team. I just, I talk to, like, Mikhail thinks a lot that, if anything, if Giannis leaves, he's going to Golden State. And I just, like you said, it's so hard to see him doing that. I think,
true.
when you talk about the Warriors too, I think Kevin Durant's just the way Kevin Durant went to the Golden State Warriors, I think Giannis seeing that, it's kind of, and not just Giannis, but other NBA stars, you see that move and just see the way he was critiqued. It's kind of like, do I want to do that to myself?
Yeah,
Right.
I think Miami would be the safer option for not getting roasted. One.
Yeah.
Two, he'd fit right in. I mean, like, come on, him, Jimmy Butler, Adebayo, and the shooters would be crazy.
Yeah, they're definitely rising team. They're definitely rising team. But anyways, we had asked this question, or we had prepared to ask this question to someone else we were supposed to have on our podcast, but we wanted to ask this to you. So obviously your favorite team is the Knicks.
Yep.
And if you were the owner or general manager or some important part on the staff or the administration, and you were told to go get a star player, if everyone else was on a free agent contract and you could grab anyone, not named LeBron James and not named Giannis, because that would
Okay.
kind of be the first top 2 picks, who would you go get for the Knicks?
Right now to make them like a winning team.
To make them a winning team.
All right. Well, if we could flash forward to the draft and we get LaMelo, just so I know who I want to pair up
Okay,
there.
yeah.
If they have LaMelo, I'm going with KD.
Okay.
Get a healthy
There you
KD,
go.
LaMelo in there with him,
Mhm.
who could, do what LaMelo does, and then just get KD as a main scoring option. And
Okay.
I know you said one player, but then get like a pretty good center in there.
Yeah.
And I think they're pretty good in the
Pretty
East.
good center. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, one of our final questions that we had today was a bit more of a personal question for you. And, doing all this Instagram stuff, and I know you go to Long Island University as well. What type of career do you potentially want to be in? Like, if you were to have a dream career right now, what spot would you take? Whose spot would you take?
I would love to be Stephen A. Smith of
That's
some
right.
sort,
Yeah.
because listen, everybody knows him. I would be Stephen A. Smith, just not as loud and crazy and saying so much blasphemy, as he would say.
Right.
But
Right.
he worked hard in the beginning, similar to what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Just really trying to get into the journalism field, making connections. I make connections every day on social media with new
Right.
people. He's always on shows. He used to be a reporter and, still is, I guess, if you want to say. But I love that he interviews, he does TV appearances, he's like a celebrity, and he's just everywhere, the guy.
Yeah.
So that's something that I would want to be. So I got to work my way up in the field to get there. And he makes like $10 million a year. So hey, I wouldn't complain about that.
Crazy loaded, and I know it's in this industry. It's a bit harder to get just because there's limited spots. But if you can really make it big, you will be set. And I know
like I said, Mike, you're doing things that like me and Mikhail saying, we're just like that's inspiring. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think somebody that has the drive and the dedication as yourself, I could totally see you being that Stephen A. Smith, if not better, in the next few years, man. Just keep grinding, and yeah, dude, I'm excited to see where you get, man.
Yeah, we hope.
Guys, I appreciate it. And listen, same to you. I know you guys are saying you look up to me, but you got to grind yourselves to get to where you want to be. All right. So with your page, keep grinding and whatever you guys want to do. And good luck in college with everything in journalism, and learn as much as you can. And that's all the journalists out there.
Yeah.
Whatever you learn in school, I've learned a lot since I started college. I've used on NBA Buzz and all the platforms I have. So, it's very beneficial.
Yep. All right, guys, make sure you check him out, Official NBA Buzz. He's on Instagram. He's on Facebook. Facebook, you have, I think, 1 million followers, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
2.6 million on Facebook.
Damn.
Yeah, guys, go check him out. He's at 163,000 right on Instagram. Great page. Just a really, really cool guy to just talk about basketball with. And again, we're super happy and honored to have you on the show again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, fellas, thanks again.
Yep. With that being said, thank you guys for joining us on another episode of What's the Call, and peace.